You're always a little bit afraid when you sell a work of yours to be adapted to television and film, because, of course, the history of Hollywood is full of cases where they just keep the title and change everything.
G.Martin is the creator of this world, and in a very real sense, we're all walking in his dream right now.
I think we were cleaving really close to the source material because to be honest, we really, really respect and love the source material.
I began this series in 1991, and the minute the book started to hit the bestseller list, one starts getting inquiries from producers who are interested in optioning it for feature film. And I remember talking to my agents and saying, it can't be done. There's too much. The books are too big. They would have to cut so much there would be nothing left.
This is a story that's so rich, and there's so many characters, and it is there's so many different viewpoints and narratives all woven together with incredible expertise. And it was such an intricate tapestry that he was weaving that we couldn't imagine mutilating it to make it into a feature script.
So the only way to do this is a series of series on HBO. That's where my series belongs. So I told my agents, go forth and make it happen.
Take care, Mark. Action. About 3.5 years ago, G.Martin's agent sent me 4 books, and I started reading, and about 70 pages in, I got completely hooked. And a few hundred pages later, I called Dan. I said, I'm in the middle of this book called Game of Thrones, and I think it's the best read I've had in God knows how long. He calls back the next day and says
that you weren't crazy, and 2.5 days later I was done with a 900-page book.
And Richard is bigger than him.
Yeah. The first time he came to set, he said it's like walking into one of my dreams. And
he looked stunned.
Yeah, he did look stunned, and we're in his dreams too. I mean, this is the world he created. These are the characters he created, and as Dan said earlier, we've been trying to cleave as closely as possible to the novel that he wrote and to the world he created.
Welcome.
When I look around at the real world, it's a world full of grays. Even the greatest heroes have weaknesses, and even the blackest villains are capable of acts of compassion and humanity. People are complicated, and I want my characters to be complicated too.
My dear brother, there are times you make me wonder whose side you're on. My dear brother, you wound me. You know how much I love my family.
Game of Thrones is not about monsters, it's about humans.
One of the mottos that we have been trying to live by in writing this is no bad guys.
It's an incredibly human story, and every character has his or her own motivation.
Everybody is pursuing their own interest, and everybody is following their own code, and it's about those interests and those ethics coming into conflict with each other, and it just provides a much richer story than the guys in white beating the guys in black.
I don't want to frighten you, but I won't lie to you either. We've come to a dangerous place. We cannot fight a war amongst ourselves. Right?
What makes Game of Thrones as a whole so compelling are the characters and the journeys they undergo. And just the idea of taking this story, which G.Martin created, and going into it, not having to make up each season as we go along, but actually knowing from the beginning, from now, the essential shape of the entire series. It's incredible luxury for us as screenwriters, as adapters of this material.
You're just a soldier, aren't you? You take your orders and you carry on. I suppose it makes sense. Your older brother was trained to lead and you were trained to follow.
I was also trained to kill my enemies, Your Grace.
As was I.
These books are a considerable challenge for any screenwriter.
We're all living in George's dream. I mean, this is the world that he created. These are the characters he created.
My fans are going to see the story that I told come alive in a different medium.
George has been an integral part from the beginning. The casting process we would show him the people we're looking at, get his feedback on the different actors we're looking at, set design, costume design. It's very important to us that George feel that he's a part of the process and that he actually be a part of the process, not just in name, but in actuality.
I know how to play a man like Drogo. I give him a queen, and he gives me an army.
I don't want to be his queen.
I was very hopeful that the script would actually reflect my books, and indeed it did. I was not disappointed at all. I thought they did a terrific job. I was delighted with the script, and still am.